Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream tonight. So, you're not going to see my face a whole lot because I'm not the star of the show tonight. The star of the show is that back there. So, what we're going to be doing tonight is we are going to be building a PC that is specifically designed for retro gaming. It is not going to be extremely powerful, as this graphics card can show you. It's a obviously a Zotac. It's a 1050 Ti. I don't know what year it was released, but I know since it was released way before I built my first PC back in 2020. And what is going to happen tonight is I'm going to take these parts, I'm going to put them together, and then I'm going to install Batocera Linux on the computer, and then we're going to try to run some games on it. And I hope everybody has a good time. If anybody has any comments, even if you're watching this after the fact, if you have any comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. And yeah, let's learn something about building computers. One thing about this is that if you are building a more up-to-date or um, a stronger unit or a stronger build, um, the basics of it are still the same. You're still putting the IO shield in. You're still putting the motherboard on its box before you put it into the chassis. So everybody sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice big glass of sweet tea, and let's build a computer. Okay, so we're going to put the power supply down below, and that back there is the case I'm going to be using. It's a Cooler Master Q300L. I have a Ryzen 5 5500. Like I said, a Zotac GTX. I might have said RTX earlier, but this is the GTX 1050 Ti. I think this was released in maybe 2017, maybe 2015. I don't know. We are also going to be putting at least 2 terabytes of M.2 storage. Probably not going to be NVMe. I'm pretty sure it's not, but we'll see. And then probably my boot drive is going to be a 256 gigabyte M.2 drive. This came with a computer that one of my former coworkers gave me, which is this guy right here. It is an Acer Aspire. I took the processor out. We're not using that. I took all of the storage that was in here out. I took some of the fans out, and I also took the RAM out. So we're gonna be using a few parts from that and making something new. All right. So first thing we need to do is clear off our workspace, make sure that we're not fumbling over anything. So I had an interesting comment um, when I filmed a YouTube short about all of this, and this right here is what got the funniest comment. Somebody said, "Hey, he's got RAM, get him!" So that made me laugh first thing when I woke up this morning. So yeah. So the first thing we're gonna do, get the motherboard out of its box. So this is the Asus Prime B550A Wi-Fi 2. I picked it because of number one, well, not necessarily number one, but one of the big things was the price. I think this one went for about $85 as of as of yesterday when it was delivered. And it is an AM4 board because we're going to be using an AM4 chip. And so I guess first we can put our RAM in. Let me adjust this camera real quick. I'll do this a different way. There we go. All right. So we'll take our processor and throw it in first. It's so pretty. So like I said, Ryzen 5 5500. And we're going to look for a triangle, which is over there. Give it a little wiggle, make sure it's seated down, and put the arm down. So one thing I did consider whenever it came time to do this is I was going to use the old cooling unit from the recycled PC down there, but I figured I would hold on to this for a different day in case I needed it for something. And because I got the RAID Stealth Cooler with my processor, I would go ahead and install it. Now, when I built my first PC back in 2020, I installed a Ryzen 5 3600X on my first PC. I need to do a little bit of adjustment. And I got to remember what the heck it is. Yeah, it's been 5 years since I've done this, so we need to figure this out. Before we go any further, that's not the motherboard manual. Oh, I was looking for the motherboard box. It's right here. Yeah. Check that out. That's funny. Make sure we get our IO shield out. Oh, I'll still need that. All right. One thing it would really help if I put on my glasses. All right. Now, just to make sure, so I'm not guessing, remember kids, RTFM. A2 and B2. Okay, so the lighter colors. Those will, okay, those will come down. Cool. Now we're going to line up everything, hopefully. Okay, there's one. Where'd my other rim stick go? Ah, there it is. And then we're going to line this one up. Okay. All right. So I do believe, let me look at the back here. I'm going to compare this to this, and it looks like money. So we can still use that back plate. That's what I was going to read the manual about, but since I found it, I don't need to. Did I already get my kit out? So if you are going to be building computers or doing any type of electronics really, I would highly recommend, this is not a sponsored thing, but I would highly recommend getting an iFixit kit or some sort of toolkit that has a bunch of different bits in it. Just because of, I mean, I use this thing whenever I'm working on my electronics, I use this thing like nobody's business. And this particular kit came with a bunch of other little tools and stuff in it, which I can get to a little bit later. The iFixit kit is one toolkit that you can use. It is not the only one that you can use. And take it from somebody who has been through this already. It is a good idea whenever you're taking all these little screws and everything apart, even though you're not going to need them anymore, it is a really good idea to put them somewhere where you will be able to find them sometime down the road. Because the more you work on computers and stuff, the more you may need them. Okay, so the AMD logo here is going to be sideways because the PC is going to go like that, and this has to go like this. Okay, I'm going to stand up for this. And that sound you heard is just the springs turning. So if you're using the Raid Stealth cooler and you hear that sound, it's not a big deal. And this already had thermal paste on the other side, so I didn't have to apply any to it. Now, we just need to find our CPU fan header. Because we have to plug our fan in. All right, I think. Let me make sure. Make sure that that's the right header because it's not very well labeled. Probably should have read the manual before I hit go live, but that's okay. All right, so CPU fan. We'll go around this way. Nope. Then we'll plug her in. Just like that. So now our fan header is plugged in, so this guy will spin whenever we turn it on. All right. All right, so we got the RAM in, we got the fan header in, or the fan plugged in. We'll tuck it down right there and slap a zip tie on it. All right. So there's not really a lot of places for this type of thing to go, so we'll just kind of tuck it next to where the DIMM slots are at. We're not using all four of them, so not a big deal. And yeah, now the motherboard is pretty much prepped. We'll put the graphics card in last. Oh, I need to put the storage in. So go back to the motherboard manual and see what we got going as far as our M.2 slots. The M.2 slots allow you to install M.2 devices such as M.2 SSD modules, 5000 series, 3000 series, 5000 series. All right. So here is our 256 gigabyte storage drive. We're going to use it because we don't necessarily, even if this thing, it doesn't look like it's capable, but even if it was capable of NVMe speeds, we're not going to be using it because we're going to be putting the graphics card in there. So it's just a fast storage solution. Now, where did that little bag of screws go? Get away. There they are. Put them on that so they don't try to roll away. Okay. We put our little standoff on the motherboard, and you can move it around depending on how big your M.2 is. Because some of these, as you can see, look like a stick of gum, but some of them are longer and even shorter than this one is. Yeah, that is so not going to work in there. All right. So let's see if this screw is magnetic. Huh. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just nice and snug in there. One thing I can tell you is we're not going to chance it. At least I'm not going to. You may if you wish. This guy. So, as we move along with this build, I am ultimately going, or to begin with, going to be installing Batocera Linux and seeing kind of how it does because I have never used it before. I know that there are lots of people in the Steam Deck community, which I'm part of, that have used it, but I am not one of those people. So I don't really know how well or not well it's going to work for my purposes. So see that little tiny space around that? Yeah, these fingers don't deal with that, which is a good thing that I had this. And those don't have to be super tight, just get them snug, and that should be just fine. Okay, now our motherboard is prepped. So we will take it, stick it back in the box, and set it to the side. Because we certainly don't want it to get damaged before we're ready for it. Oops. That slid a little bit better than I thought it was going to. I don't like the non-captive thumb screws, but that's what you get for a $35 case. All right. And fortunately, this is acrylic. It's not glass. Looks nice for now, but I have a toddler, so I'm not expecting everything to stay looking pretty forever. And this PC may or may not wind up in my living room. And by the way, the zip ties that come with a lot of cases, especially budget cases, are a joke. And not a really funny joke either. It's weird looking at myself and the playback on my screen and forgetting that I'm wearing glasses. Where is that? Okay. So if anybody, I see a few people are starting to come in now. If anybody has any questions on the parts that I'm using or what it's going to be used for, anything like that, please feel free to ask away. I'm just taking these thumb screws and putting them back in the case so that I don't lose them, which is a high probability, especially when you building a computer, it kind of makes a mess. I think I got micro ATX. I cannot for the life of me remember. Hello, darling. How are you? And since I can't remember, one cool thing about this case is that you have the option. Wait a minute. You have the option of standing it up or laying it down, which is pretty cool in my book. Taking and moving this case around, I can feel the cost of it, if you know what I mean. But again, I knew what I was getting. Kind of wondering if YouTube would ban me if I played some Christmas music because I'm kind of feeling in the mood a little bit. Not like, trust me, Mariah Carey will never ever be played in by my choice. Absolutely not. I mean, maybe some instrumental stuff like there's something to bebop along to. No big deal. Time to hydrate. That's better. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay. I had to go to my Amazon account to find out which kind of board that I got because I forgot. So I got the Micro ATX. So both of them go there. So I'm looking for M. Cool. And another good thing to have whenever you are building computers, particularly as you get older, is light. Because I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, my eyesight is I've always had pretty darn good eyesight, especially for somebody who works in the electrical field as long as I did. But anytime you're working in somewhat enclosed spaces and you need to be able to see, just go grab something that can provide some light for you, because the more you work in darker spaces without light, the more your eyes are going to mess up, or that's what the doctors tell me anyway. So, and it's been my experience that it's pretty much true. So, so we're going to take all these screws here. Well, after I cut the bag open, there we go. All right, so we're looking for all of the ends. This would be a lot easier if I wasn't left-handed, or if I was left-handed. MI's already got one. There we go, maybe. Digging through, trying to get all these standoffs out. It would also help a whole heck of a lot if I didn't have such big hands. Marsgold, how are you? We are building a Batocera PC. We're using a micro ATX board, and I have Batocera already loaded and ready to go whenever we get her turned on and into the BIOS. That did not sound good. Yes, sir. So I realized a few months ago that me and my wife both like the older games, and I would like to be able to play them with her. And her PS5 is cool and everything, but the controllers are expensive. I have a ton of wireless controllers over here for older consoles or PCs, and I just feel like we could be better off with something like this in the living room. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, this one is kind of questionable, so we're going to see what happens with it in a few minutes. Make sure they're good and tight. M-I-M-M. Okay. Now, we're going to take care of the bane of the entire existence of PC builders worldwide, the IO shield. Yeah, so I bought the RAM back in May, and it was about $60. I did not buy the RAM at the current insane prices. we go. This flimsy little thing here is not wanting to cooperate. I'm trying not to break it. I'm also trying not to cut my hand on the metal. So I posted a YouTube short yesterday, and it was showcasing the different parts and stuff that I'm going to be using for this build. And the the RAM was basically sitting up against the power supply box, which is right down there, by the way. And somebody commented and was like, "He's got RAM, get him!" Like, go beat him up, take his RAM. It was, I mean, it. As far as comments go, I haven't laughed that hard in a long time at a comment. So I think we are ready to slap our motherboard in. Now, when I built the computer that I'm currently streaming from, I made a huge mistake. I put the wrong screws into the motherboard and cross-threaded them and broke them off. So whenever I go to, do anything with the motherboard on this one, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I am missing one standoff. Okay, so the motherboard has to come back out. Not a huge deal. Just got to move one of these standoffs. Fortunately, fortunately, I had not put any of the screws in it yet. And to prevent the same thing from happening again, I'm going to take one screw that I'm pretty sure goes into it, kind of thread it in, see if, make sure it goes all the way in. Okay, yeah, we're good there. And then separate it. So just to satisfy my own morbid curiosity, Marskulls, what part of the world are you watching this fair stream from? I'm pretty fortunate to have a fairly um nationally diverse viewership. And I'm always curious where everybody's from. Because like some guys they stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning where they're at in London watching my live stream. So Mexico. Let's see here. Let me see if I remember my Spanish. Well, buenas noches, senor. Uh-oh. That's not good. I do have one question for you. And it's something that has confused me. I have a really good friend, and his parents are immigrants to the United States, and they're from Mexico. My question is, in your experience, is the name Zeus, like the Greek god, is the name Zeus common in Hispanic culture? I don't know. I'm the whitest guy on the planet. I'm from America. I've never been outside the United States. I'm just curious because it kind of threw me for a loop when a guy who's, basically Mexican and his name is Zeus. It's supposed to be sticking in there, but it's not. No, not Jesus. I'll tell you what, I'll type it in the chat. Give me just a second. There, that. I knew about Jesus, but Zeus, for a for a family to name their son Zeus, it kind of it threw me for a loop. I, I was I'll say that. Get over there. Never met someone named Zeus, but some Nuyans have some weird. Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering. All right. I don't think they sent me enough screws. Interesting. But that's okay. Well, I've got 4 in it. And I don't know if these are going to work. Let me see what the size is in the manual. That's not it. Remember, RTFM. Oh, there's only supposed to be 4. H. Oh, I still put the wrong flipping screws in it. Oh, boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. See. Okay. See how this works, because I'm going by the manual. I was hoping to have fired this thing up by now. Oh well. Such is life. Two more to take out. Excuse me. Take them all out. So, Marskulls, have you had the pleasure of building your own PC? Some people have, some people haven't. Let's get it back in there. All right. All right. Turn this guy around. I'm going to try to get the most important thing on the whole system. Well, the most important thing on the whole front panel taken care of first. I have a server PC, basically like a mini PC with a little more space. So there, not a lot of. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I would like to have a NAS and maybe also like a PC for a gaming server, simply because um running off of other people's servers, I want to be able to kick people whenever I want to kick people, stuff like that. And I don't want to depend on somebody else's abilities or lack thereof to maintain one. But as far as a NAS goes, I would love to have a NAS simply for like keeping family photos and stuff like that. All right. HDD. Let me see. All right. Because um my daughter passed away 2 years ago now, and there's some pictures of her that obviously you can't get back now. So that's my main reason for having the NAS above anything else. HDD LED plus minus goes on the bottom. Where are you? Plus, minus. There's the bottom. Power switch. Plus, minus goes on the top. Or LED plus, minus. Power button. Ground. They don't tell you which one is which, do they? Reset switch. Well, it's a switch, so I guess it doesn't really matter. There we go. And then that's all for that. That's all she wrote. Then I take this guy. That has got to be the thickest wire in this entire computer case. The one for the USB 3.0. Where did my motherboard manual? Oh, there it is. Duh. Front panel audio AAFP. I don't really see myself using this a whole heck of a lot, but it would probably bother me if I didn't connect it anyway. It's just gonna have to GTF out of the way of the power supply, because that I know I gotta have. Full. Speaking of the power supply, So it is my goal one day, not anytime soon, but it is my goal one day to have a computer room that does not have a sleeping toddler next to it. Granted, one day he's not going to be a toddler anymore, but that's not the point. I would like it to be where my content creation shenanigans is not going to wake him up. Or anybody else for that matter. So I have the Corsair CX650. I went with a 650-watt power supply in case I want to one day upgrade the GPU to something maybe a little bit more beefy, because the CPU will definitely handle more than just emulation. And the GPU will also, but not by much. I can leave that in here. Oh, thank you. Let's see here. Let's see if I can't mount this sucker like that. Where did my manual go? I want to make sure that I don't mess up the screws on the power supply too. Mm, come on, where are you? There you are. Okay. The power supply that's in, or the first one I ever bought, because I'm on my the one I'm streaming from is my second computer. This is my third one. The first one I ever built had a Corsair power supply, and it, you know, went on no problems for 2, 3 years. With electronics these days, that's pretty good. So I didn't really have a problem going with Corsair again for this build. I don't remember how this thing goes. But that's okay, because I can figure it out. Most of the time, I'm pretty fart smeller, so. Yeah, let's try this again. Beautiful, Charlie, beautiful. All right. I'm going to adjust my camera here for a second. Hope I don't make anybody sick. Thank you. Pretty much all I have to do now is get the power to the GPU and hook my other power up, and I should be sitting pretty good. And there's no path up there besides that. Let's see here. Okay. Oops, blinding people. So we take this guy and go up top over that. And thankfully, I'm not going to be running anything like super heavy on this machine. So a whole ton of fans isn't really necessary. Actually, this GPU doesn't need power. It gets power from PCIe. So yeah, we're we're good to go. Um, I have hooked everything up. So yeah, I'll do some cable management in the back. Oh, how I just joined, and the power supply is the same as on my retro PC. Awesome! They must have made a lot of those. So this GPU is the Zotac 1050 Ti. It does not need power from the power supply, so we're good there. Anagram, that's awesome to hear. I'm glad I chose a good power supply. So yeah, we'll flip the chassis around. Let's do some cable management in the back. And thanks to the GPU, there's not a lot of it. Now, I work in aviation, and in aviation, cable management is literally everything. They've done studies on plane crashes, and I'm 41 years old. And when I was a child, TWA flight 800 crashed. And I think it was in 98. And it is still a case study on doing proper cable management because it's so vital to aircraft safety. So I said all that to say that I take it pretty seriously, and it may not look the best in here, but it will not move and it will not change. It's the Ryzen 5 5500, and the RAM is a T-Force. I'll have to look at it. Give me just a second. I'll flip it back around. I got to put one last thing. And by the way, if you guys haven't already, but if you'd like to, I would appreciate if you would subscribe. My goal this year is to get to 700 subscribers. And the last time I checked before I went live, my subscriber count is at 696. So that it's not really gonna help anything besides, getting more subscribers, but it would help me reach my goal. All right. So that's all done. Now, well, thank you. So, Anagram, you said that you have a retro gaming PC. What kind of stuff do you like to play? Thank you. And also, favorite game of all time. What is it? What is it? Retro Fallout New Vegas. Okay, cool. I was actually talking to somebody at work, and his absolute favorite game of all time is New Vegas, the Fallout game. Alright, let's get my other screwdriver. Make Warrior Online. It's running with poor frame rate. Gotcha. So I'm gonna spin you guys around a little bit. Oh yes, I have played Quake quite a bit. I'm gonna spin you guys around. My favorite game of all time is sitting right there. Pardon the mess, but that's part of my collection. Oops. And I was going to use that 1 terabyte drive, but that thing's from 2015 maybe, and I don't know how good it is. Maybe I'll run it through Crystal Disk one day and test it out. Another screwdriver. Classic. Thank you. So I just so happened to find that copy of Super Mario Brothers 3 one day when I was out shopping with my wife and a friend, and the gentleman who had it is from Great Britain and he owns the store and he has so much stuff. He's trying to get rid of all of it. And so his wife was like, you have to get rid of some of your stuff. And he's like, all right, fine. And so he sold me that copy for $90, which, if you're familiar with gaming prices, particularly old games, that was a steal. But he had multiple copies of it, so he, I mean, supply and demand kind of took over on that one. But I didn't care because I got Mario complete in box, with a plastic sleeve around the box for $100. You bet. Alrighty then. Oops. Wrong screwdriver. Oops. Oopsies. Well, old games and hardware can be hard to find where, yes. So an original Mac 128K broken to someone who did restoration work. Nice. Yeah, I mean, and there's so many people who are trying to take advantage and jack the price up for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, that's a really pain. No doubt about that. Okay, people of the RetroTea Lounge, what do we think? Oh, you asked about the RAM. Just a second here. So it's two 8 GB sticks of DDR4 RAM. So um 16 gigabytes total, and it runs at 3600 megahertz. So pretty fast. Have a power cord back there. I just have to get it. All right. So, um, I need this guy. Here's my laptop. Okay, so I'm gonna change the scene on OBS, and we're gonna switch over to where the computer's gonna come up, and we're gonna see what happens. Oops. I forgot to turn all this stuff off. All right. Hold on to your butts. Yeah, right. NVMe SSD Intel. All right. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm still undefeated when it comes to computers that I build posting. All right, let me get my keyboard out and we'll do some stuff. And DDR4 2400. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that. All right. So that bad boy right there. Oops. I'm so happy about that. I'm gonna change one of my screens. First PC was a disaster. I'm so glad that mine was not, because I was so nervous whenever I built my first one. I would have probably had some sort of an aneurysm if mine had been a disaster. Maybe fix something really quick. There we go. Yay! I'm so excited. All right. So we need to go to boot manager. You're in here. I can hear you. There you are. Boot manager. Okay. I have not done this in a while. Boot. Quiet Outcast, how are you? Had to RMA the board. I thought I was just screwing up, and in the long run, no idea if I did, but replacing the board did well. Oh, okay, well, that's good. How are you, Catherine? I hope you had fun. So for some reason, my flash drive is not showing up. Yo, what's up, everybody? So, you guys got here right as soon as I finished the actual building of the computer. The replay will be available for everybody to go watch if you want to. But what we're doing right now is we're in the BIOS and I'm trying to get it to boot to my flash drive that I have plugged in the side here. Let me make this a little bit clearer. So this is the PC that we're looking at right now. Oops, what did I do? What happened? Okay, cool. Anyway, so there's a flash drive and I have an operating system called Batocera on here. And for some reason, the drive is not showing up. So we're gonna figure something out really quick. Easy mode. All right. Maybe I didn't have it in all the way. Yes, PC building. I love PC building, but unfortunately, it's a very expensive hobby, so I don't get to do it a lot. So, Catherine, what you're looking at is called the BIOS, and I can't remember what BIOS stands for, but this is the core software that runs a computer. If you wanted to replace an operating system or you wanted to look at how fans operate, then you would go into the BIOS. Do you keep all of them? I've The first one I built, I did not keep that one, but the second one I built is the one I'm streaming from, and then the third one I built is sitting right back here. So, the answer is no, but I mean, I would do this all the time if this is what I got paid to do, but unfortunately it's not. However, as Tyler found out the other night, I do get to work on computers technically as a job. They just happen to have wings and fly. They're my hobby, as you can see down there, is computers, and I get to do a lot with them. Thank you. Thank you, Marshmallows. So BIOS stands for Basic Input Output System. All right, I need to save and exit. Yes. So that may be having a problem. It's okay. Oops. So we're going to go back to the BIOS, and there we go. Okay. So what we're doing now is I have an operating system on the flash drive that I told you about a second ago, and I plugged it into a different port on the back of the computer. And so now it shows up right here. This is the one I want to boot from because that has something called Batocera on it. And so now we have switched that, and then we're going to go and hit F10 to save it and hit OK. Now it should get really interesting. So if Tyler's around, this is a Linux operating system that we're about to go off of. Toria, no, unfortunately, it's not what I commonly stream. I commonly do retro games. However, one thing that I do love is building computers, and whenever I can take those two and mix them together, I'm all about it. Look, Catherine, fix him. Oh wow, I cannot see that. That is small. Yeah, you like Fortnite too, but I'm showing y'all some cool stuff. So if you ever were to get a virus on your computer, unfortunately, it does happen. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera. If you ever get a virus on your computer, it would be a good idea to learn how to what they call flash the operating system. Well, I mean, sometimes it still happens anyway, or it just simply happens out of ignorance. I mean, I've seen people just flat out don't know, and that's okay because you've never been taught. But I've seen people who just don't know get a virus on their computer, and it's something simple. I actually got a virus one time, and it was something so simple, but it ate up all of my system resources just from clicking on one wrong thing that I didn't even mean to click on. And I had to go find it and delete it or kill it. Yes. Yay. I was actually doing work, trying to get my training as a home inspector. And there was a little advertisement on one of the websites that I was supposed to be looking at. And yeah, homework. If you go to suspicious places on the internet, yes, you will find a virus. I guarantee you that. Welcome everybody. This is what I was working for. You call it work too? Yeah, work. Anyway, check this crap out. Oh my gosh. So, who was it? Tori, you asked me if I normally stream this kind of stuff. Technically, yes. So this is called Batocera. And I may leave this on this computer. I may change it to a different operating system. I may go to Windows. I don't know. Um, but the reason that I built this computer is so that me and my wife could play games in the living room. Tried to play free Minecraft and I got wrecked by a Trojan. Ooh, brother, brother, brother. Toria, like Toe Mater? I don't know. Don't don't worry, Tori. I got it. I understand. Look, Tyler is still a little salty from a Native American wrecking him, like wrecking him hard. I've never heard that man swear before in my life until, what was it, Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Talk about getting wrecked. Goodness gracious. Let's try to connect a controller to this bad boy. What do I have? What do I have? Where am I going? What am I doing? I hope the VOD or whatever for that stream is still up. Go watch it. It is hilarious for me. It was not hilarious. Tend to disagree, buddy. Just saying. Okay. F1, maybe. So I've never, like I said, I've never messed with Batocera before, and so this is a learning experience for me as well as everybody else. It doesn't look like it's going that well. Let me try something out really quick. Listen here, just because you're right doesn't mean anything. And I'm not going to disagree with you because you're probably right. All right. I help my friends build their computers so I get more builds on a lower budget. So a good my friend who he is basically selling everything he owns, and he's going to travel the world because it's something he's always wanted to do, and he has the financial freedom to be able to do it. Um and so he gifted both of his computers to his friends, and um yeah, they got very, very nice computers for free. And I told him, I was like, dude, are you sure you want to do this? Do you want to try to sell them? He's like, no, no, I've already told my friends. We go way back, like, knee high to a pissant. And I was like, all right, buddy. I mean, it's your computer. You do whatever you want to with it. So yeah, he was happy to do that, and his friends lost their mind. Yeah, he has 100% disability from the military, and so he basically gets paid in a month more than I get paid in a month when I work a full-time job, and that's fine. I mean, I don't care. He went in the military. He did the thing. So hey, more power to him. And it's weird because I've heard a lot of people get upset when military members, whether they're retired or they just, they just didn't reenlist or whatever, they get disability from the military. I'm sorry, I went to basic training and I never saw a war, nothing like that. I didn't do anything, crazy. I went to basic training and they said it's not a good idea for you to continue. So I went home. And having just gone to basic training, I say, you know what? They deserve it. Ooh, now we're talking. Network settings. All right, Catherine. Have a good night. Lose stream alert. All right. Have a good night. I'm not gonna be on too much longer. I am happy to have this up and running now. And by the way, Catherine Quiet Outcast. She is a streamer on YouTube as well, so go and sub to her channel. She does completely different content than I do, but that's okay. Everybody does their own thing. I'm trying to see if I can get any more games or anything like that. All right, so oh, I know what I need to do. So anybody who's watching, if you have not subscribed already yet, I would appreciate it. I am now sitting at 698 subscribers, and my goal for the next week and a half is 700. So all we need is two more. Oh my God, that hurt. Did anybody hear that? I hope my son didn't. All right, let me see, because I've forgotten the step. With Linux-based operating systems, they basically let you try it out for a little bit, and then if you want to install it on your computer. Problem is, I don't know where the installation command is at, so I have to go find it. Is that also it has to do extract installing. So go to System Settings. New York, power saving mode. Install on a new disk. Inland NVMe SSD, 1.9 terabytes. All right. We will do that. All right, cool. So now it's installing. And what I'm gonna have to do after 1.5 is rookie numbers. So in the computer that I'm streaming from, I have 4 terabytes. That's where I store all of my games, whether it be Steam or or the ROMs and stuff like that. That's where I store all of it. So what it's doing right now is instead of being on the flash drive, it's actually writing it to the M.2 drive that I have in the PC right now. So this is pretty cool. I've never dealt with anything like this. I'm hoping that I'll be able to use a wireless controller. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, simply because most of the wireless controller manufacturers, they don't include, they come with dongles like this, which is just, you just plug it into a USB port, but they don't include support for Linux, which is a problem. It is not. And also my laptop actually has runs Zorin OS. It's really weird because the Steam Deck on the while it's on the dock, you can plug a controller, a wireless controller with the USB dongle, and it'll work. So I'm not really sure what the deal is with like a Linux PC or a laptop, because it will not work on my laptop. And who knows? I may not really like Batocera all that much. I know, and I chose it because it is so highly recommended. But I may not like it, and I'll switch to something else, and that's okay. My eyes must be getting really bad because I can see really well with these glasses on. The the good news about stuff like the Steam Deck and next year the Steam Machine is it is making Linux very mainstream, which I like, because the more mainstream it gets, the more support from all these different third party controller manufacturers, stuff like that. They're going to start including um, cooperation with Linux in their software and on their dongles. Should work well as it's distro focused and stuff normally should pack. Yeah, and I mean I hope it does, because that, like I said, this is this computer is going to be going to the living room if my toddler doesn't destroy it. Oops. I forgot to plug a fan in. That's okay. It's the one on the back, so it won't be a problem to plug in. So I'm actually pretty concerned about it being pretty pricey. Not because Steam will make it really pricey or that they really want to, but the price of RAM. They had, I feel like they had somebody reading the tea leaves, so to speak, and they saw what was coming because with the RAM prices doing what they did, why in the world is that running? Sorry, squirrel. Anyway, they kind of saw what was coming with AI and the price of RAM and stuff like that, and they didn't want to shoot themselves in the foot and lose their behinds on this Steam machine when they didn't know what the price of RAM was going to do. We're at 699, 699 subscribers. Yeah, I'm hoping it's not. And I mean, the Steam Deck, I don't think it's terribly priced. I wish it was cheaper, but three times cost in DDR5. Yeah, it's insane. It really is, and there's no good reason for it. Um, the funny number. Oh yeah, 69. Nice. I remember when I had 69 subscribers, I was like, is this thing really gonna work? And now I'm at, nearly 700. I'm like, holy crap, it might actually work. Writing disk NVMe ON1. Please wait. Okay, cool. I can do that. So I did a YouTube short. You guys can go back and watch it. It's the most recent one. It has like 1,800 views now. But there's a guy who commented and he was like, "That this guy has RAM. Get him." I think I told Marskulls earlier, like that was one of the funniest comments I've ever gotten. Almost there. Thanks, man. So, where this channel has come from, and this is I say this, not anything good about myself or anything like that, but it's just kind of like it blows me away that it was actually possible. Um, I started this channel as a way to maybe possibly generate some sort of income that would free my schedule up for the most part finished so that I could take care of my very very critically ill child. And it wound up not working, and between my son being born in 2023, my daughter passing away in 2023, and then moving across the country from Colorado to the East Coast, and then um, trying to get settled, moving. I think we moved three times after we got back to the East Coast, and then, having a job, losing that job, getting another one, working on the weekends when most people watch live streams, um, and then finally getting everything settled to where I'm at now. There was a point where I mean, my wife can tell you, and I think she might be watching, but there was a point where I was just like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to do it. Nobody's watching, blah, 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 blah. All that kind all that defeatist stuff that, had almost took this channel out. And, you know, all I do, I mean, I show people cool stuff and, playing video games and talking about it. And like, I even do, like videos about history of consoles and the games that came on the consoles. And I have one in the works about the beef between Nintendo and PlayStation, before PlayStation was PlayStation. So it's a beef between Nintendo and Sony. But and my whole shtick with this channel is, be excellent to each other, because there's no reason why we should go around, pardon my expression, but there's no reason why we should go around being little assholes to everybody, including ourselves. So yeah, there was a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. And then I stuck with it. Um, my wife convinced me to stick with it. God bless that woman, because she's put up with a lot. Not just from me, but as a whole. Um, and yeah, so now we're here. Um, with that being said, I will be posting more content with this computer. I'm gonna get some games loaded on it. I'm gonna see what it can do and let you guys know if um I'm gonna change the operating system. And if I do, I'll let you know which one. If you have a suggestion, I'm all ears if I wind up changing it. But it is nearly midnight where I'm at, and I have a child that will be waking up in about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. So I'm gonna well, thank you, Marshalls. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I'm gonna get out of here. Share this video with other people. Maybe they get some entertainment, maybe they get some good information out of it, and they can do the same thing, because this is the most basic PC build I've ever seen or done. Um, so maybe somebody can get some good information out of it, and I will see you guys, not tomorrow night, but I will be back on Monday night. And I think, yeah, I'm gonna be playing Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth, the RTS game. So yeah, good night. Love you guys. Thank you very much. And yeah, work hard, play hard, game hard, but above all else, be excellent to each other, and that includes yourself.